Hello, guys.
Hi. Hello.
Hi.
So, this is our first podcast. How do you feel?
Good.
Feels different. Like recording for the first time.
Yeah.
So,
Okay, great. So, this is a fundamental podcast. It is the foundation of design, I would say. So, as three core product designers, industrial designers, industrial designers going for UX design. So, this is podcast of how product design changed our lives. So first question I would ask is Ria. So she had this feeling in her mind that I'll be pursuing core product design. And what do you think now after this many months you are doing UX?
So when I joined design college, my design college, I came with the idea that I want to do core product because I just felt like it would be like a better choice for me. But when I went through all the things like the classes or the experience and how everything works, and I also experienced a part of UX design through our clients only, and that time I kind of realized that I think that UX is better for me because I feel more connected and I feel more interested in that.
Yeah, because I think like everyone is getting inclined, like the core product designers are getting inclined towards UX design.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah.
Actually, an incident like yesterday it just happened. Like I was on a call with my friend and we were discussing about what she wanted to finalize the design brief. So then just discussing that, okay, what are problems I face, and then the person asked me a little confused what solutions I will be proposing. So it can either be a product or I can either go for a website. So this is so much into hearing that, okay, I think if product nahi hoga, let's go and make a website.
Yeah.
But it has a much deeper thing to it, right? So you just can't switch from product to a website or just UX, just like
definitely.
that. So it has a deeper process.
Right. So every time everyone asks me how did you founded Pointless.design, the freelancing project firm.
Yeah.
It was more that I wanted to solve product problems. I didn't mean to solve only UX problems at that point, because once so now when I'm working in TESACT, so my senior Akash, he every time tells me about this thing that we are product people. We are not only UX people or industrial designers, right?
Yeah.
We have to be that tangible while providing a solution, so it should make sense to the external stakes as well as the internal, and how market reacts to the product. True. So my question next is for Shreya, I would say. So I saw you in the second sem, right? And second or third sem? In between them, yeah. So my basic understanding about Shreya was that she's a core product design student who relies on more sketching and ideation. And now here she is planning the core values of the company and building how the foundation of the product will look like. And I just wanted to know from you that how the phase went for you, right? From the third sem to the seventh sem right now.
Okay, so talking about starting with the first sem, it was very new. There was actually nothing like, okay, I want to do a product designing, I want to do fashion designing.
Right.
Yeah.
But I think through my institute, it was like, okay, I think your design skills are more inclined towards going through a product designer, becoming an industrial designer.
Right.
So I was like, cool, okay, let's go with it. So, but foundation here was just like normal basic drawing, designing, coloring and everything, and I loved it. But I think sem 2 was wherein we actually was introduced to how actually terms are there, what terms are there in product designing, and what all designers are there. And then I eventually started sketching because I don't know, I enjoyed. I used to, even when I was in college, like junior college, I used to sketch. but I think that is what eventually, gradually, I started doing, and I still enjoy. It's not that I don't enjoy sketching. Even when if there is any client or something, I think sketching is I love the part, and. Definitely from sem 2, sem 3 and sem 4 I used to actually attend sketching classes together, like with 4 people friends. We used to sit together on a particular timing and then we used to sketch around like 1 or 2 hours just to improve it. And I think it is definitely helpful. I wouldn't say that I was just wasting my time or it's not actually coming in handy right now. And but yeah, I think eventually in our semester 3 when we actually decided to start a company, that is when we took up the client. So therein I had to like offer a little different vision, and that is when I actually got inclined towards UI UX specifically, and like more of like designing digitally. And then now I am obviously after understanding everything how actually design works. It's not just even if you're designing a tangible product or it is just screens, it's more important that what experience you create and what experience you give to the user. It shouldn't just be like just colorful design or just like the form is very aesthetically looking pleasing, but if it's actually not coming at ease for any user, then I think it's of no use.
So like I've seen everyone from our class, right? They have some crazy skills in sketching and like they have some crazy ideation, but the execution is the phase where everyone fails. I accept myself also failing in the execution part many a times, right? So when we step back to like looking back to the Pointless.design, so we had our like I guess the second or third client, so we were designing an interface for him, right? So of course we started from low fidelity, we started the branding and all that stuff, right? Just the common things which everyone does. But when the project came to an end, I had this like thought in my mind that did I provide value to the product? And like that was the point that hit me ki you are not only a product designer or industrial designer, you are more than that. You have to put in the values which the CEO or founder has to put onto the product, right? And the values should match, right? Even if like
it should match how they perceive their product.
Exactly.
That should be seen through what we provide them. So.
Yes.
So I had a question for you. Since you like when we started, for I think I and Ria, it was very new in UI UX terms or in talking to clients. But I think for you it was something you already knew, or I think you were already into that phase of like I want to create a business or I want to take it in that manner. So how did you
had the idea of that? How did you
actually start? Like how did you decide on that? I think interaction design or UX or something on that form and then business. How was it for you?
As long as I know, like you wanted to go into UX right from the beginning. Like from the moment we met, you had it in your mind that you want to do UX.
Yes. So like one day I like my co-founder, like ex-co-founder Ashutosh and me were talking about football stuff, right? And that day we had the senior which I have right now also in our company, Akash. He was just sitting around and he was just telling me about his product stuff and how he was building businesses, right? So I had this thing in my mind that what if I bring all the students onto a platform and I can help them to grow or like help them to evaluate their designs and make a business out of it, right? So right now if you look at design studios, design agencies, everything is more towards experienced people or people who have experience. But when I came up with this project, it was more risk kind of thing I was taking up, because you have to give trust to the client. You have to give that confidence to the client that I will serve your purpose, right? And at the moment I got the idea, I was like, if I'm trying to get more things done with the students, it is a bit risky, but if it goes crazy with the students, it is going to boom. Because like there are industry standards every UX designer, UI designer is following, right? And there are like those standards are not changing according to the businesses, and I think that is the important factor which should be which I guess which students more discover than the experienced people, because students don't care, right? They don't care about that much. They don't have a lot of responsibilities while they are doing the activity or the project. They have a free space where they can ideate, where they can think out of the box, they can evaluate themselves, and they can grow easily. And like that was the phase when I told Ashutosh that let's have this design firm. And he was like, yes, let's do it. And then we had our small projects. We went to small design hackathons to learn how design works, and then definitely we got clients, and like it is good going right now also, I would say. But now like this idea also, that Pointless.academy, right? So this is also an extension of learning or like teaching students how business or like how product design or any design should look like, right? Because they are the changing designers, or the people who are going to change the design stuff or the system which is followed by the designers. And I think I'm pretty confident that my classmates who are doing crazy work in product design, core product design, will change the like world of design, I would say. But I have seen many people, like many industrial designers out there who are confident in sketching and who do a crazy work than me, and I totally respect them, I would say, at this point.
Because that is not easy.
Yeah, definitely. So like one question, like when I pitched you the idea of Pointless.design, right, a design firm, Ashutosh accepted it. He knew that this is a potential work we can do, but of course, like we had to onboard you guys onto the co-founding team. It was a little bit risky for me to like directly go and tell my friends that this is the idea and we should start working on it, right? Because in the end, no one like had the confidence in me. Of course, no one. And that was the point. I wanted to ask you guys, like, how did you guys believe me and like helped me create a small design firm? I would say it is small right now, but yes,
It was way smaller then.
yeah.
So I think you called me that day and you told me that you had this kind of concept in mind that you want to start a design firm.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. I didn't have a lot of knowledge about how to start a business.
Yeah.
I mean, no, none of us did. But
Exactly.
according to me, it's like I thought this will be something new, and we can do a lot through this, and we can also learn different kind of things from different kinds of projects. So we had multiple clients,
Right.
so we have experienced all the things that we had not been taught in college.
Right.
So I think the first thought that came to my mind was like, acha idea, and I think we should do this because new experience.
Right. Definitely.
Yeah, so I was like, I was always on board. It wasn't like karna hai ki nahi karna hai. I was always on board.
Yeah, and like one more thing, like when you guys onboarded, we got a client of like 5,000 or 2,000, right? I guess 2,000.
I think 8,000.
Yeah,
something like that.
I think it was 8,000
8,000,
for
right? Yeah. Packaging
Packaging
design. Right. And that was the difficult task when I told you that you want to, you guys
and that was the
enter?
very first client we had, and we had like I had no experience in packaging design or like graphic, the packaging graphics that we do, and everything we had to do from scratch.
Exactly.
And it was tough at first,
Mm.
but then I got the hang of it
Right.
later on.
I think for me, when I was told, I think we were on a meet, I think. It wasn't like an individual call that we were
Right.
deciding something, but it was just a meet that we were like, okay, we are planning, we four of us can, join in, come in, and we can start something of ourselves.
Right.
So I was like, yeah, that sounds good. Because when I was in 9th and 10th grade, I also liked, working something for someone and then taking the responsibility, doing it, managing everything.
Right.
So I was into that, and my family's also been into business, so I knew how everything is working. But I think when it was told that, okay, let's do something of our own, and I was like, okay, this is quite early, but I think if we do this, there will be a different experience
Right.
added to along with my whatever I was doing in my college. I was actually not doing much in the college.
Right.
But I think, yeah, then I think for me, it was new.
Right.
When we got the first client, I just took it as like, okay, we are getting on a project. We'll discuss, we'll do this, and we'll finally give it to them. But it is not like that. It doesn't
Right.
work like college projects. The maybe faculty after a point he approves, but the client does not. It takes a lot of time. Even after finalization of a product, also they are like, okay, nahi, I think और change कर सकते हैं थोड़ा सा. So I think that is what has taught me when I got into Pointless design, and the journey, I think it's like between 2.5 years now.
Right.
And it's not easy. It was not easy starting, I think with starting 3-4 clients, it was very different. Like the projects were very different. What we were doing in class was very different than what we actually were doing while handling the clients. And while talking about packaging design or while doing logos or whatever things came under it, like building persona or building a mood board. So those terms were also a little new, for me
You have to
personally.
research about that.
Yeah,
what
so
it
everything,
is.
whatever we did was to research, was to first study ourselves, learn,
Right.
and then apply.
Exactly.
So I think that is what has helped me definitely to grow, and what I deliver right now is very different from what I was in the past.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So,
One more thing I would like to say is that before starting Pointless Design,
Right.
I kind of knew that I wanted to do core, but I was still confused. Am I sure that I want to do this? Because I had no experience in core or even anything else. So I
Right.
was a bit confused. यही करना है क्या? Are you
Right.
sure?
Right.
And then when we started this, it was like a different experience, and I never thought that we would do something like that. As in, I had no experience before that.
Right.
And this, the first client that came was that packaging
Yeah.
client, and that was completely different, and that was a completely different side that I saw of design than what we were doing in college. So
Definitely.
that I think made me more confident about what I want to do ahead,
Right.
and in general also it increased my self confidence
Yeah.
that I can do something.
Right. Let's come to the point now. I want to ask about UX, right? This term is booming a lot in the market right now, right? Every junior or like some or the other person is asking about how we can start with UX.
Yeah.
I am an industrial designer, I am an LSA student, I am a fashion designer, and I want to start with UX, right? And
There have been so many people who have come up and said कि I am in product but हो नहीं रहा, so I want to do UX.
yeah, that is the totally different side we saw.
Yeah.
But I guess recently before a project we like someone from Intel or HP, he asked us, I guess, that are you UX designers or are you a product designer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, the
That
hurting
was
scene
some,
for us, right?
Transportation
Yeah.
guy.
I don't know exactly.
Automobile.
Yeah, he was an automobile guy.
Okay.
And he was working as an UX designer in a HP or Intel.
Okay.
Something like that.
Something like that.
He was working in a big MNC, I would say.
Yeah.
So we, like in the interview, he asked me, are you a product designer or are you a interaction designer? Right. So I was crazy. I totally my mind fucked up when he asked me that question, right? I was going to tell him, where do you work? I was going to annoyingly ask him, where do you work? Even though I knew, because I know, I wanted to know what values he carries when he submits or when he works on an interaction design platform or like interaction design project. And he was working in this big company, still he was saying, ki, are you a product designer or are you an UX designer? And are you getting a degree of product designer or are you getting a degree of interaction designer?
And then when we
before
told
starting
him
the
that
project.
about what we thought about the relation between that, he's like, no, though you can't be a product designer if you're a UX designer.
Yeah, definitely.
That was just the breaking point.
That was the boom where like I was like, what? Like you work as an interaction designer in a big company.
And
how can you ask that question to me?
And you're doing and you're working as a UX and
so like let's come back to UX and then we'll start again to core product. So my question to you guys was so right now we are doing a lot of UX projects, right? But I want to see, or like I want to know from you, how did you guys really started with UX? Because this is the problem, or this is a question between all the juniors we have right now in our college.
How to
And
start.
I actually want to solve this like problem, but there is no actually website or there is no presentation I can give and tell you guys.
There is no such process to start UX, I think.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
not like you learn the basics and then you go ahead and start doing UX. It's like you just can't, I think. And you know, when like how I started was as I said, through our clients, and there are some stages for completing the project.
Right.
So for stage 1, maybe it's the research.
Yeah.
So you do the interviews, you do the stakeholder research, do the mapping. So that was kind of the start for me. So I didn't know anything. Like I didn't know what stakeholder mapping is. I didn't know how to do the research.
Yes.
So it was just like looking at each other, how we are working, how Jatin is working, how Shreya is working on this, because we all were working on the same thing.
Yes.
And it's just by looking at you guys or just reading some article or looking at some YouTube videos.
Right.
So that's how I started to learn more about UX. And then later on, when I realized that I want to do UX, then I started taking courses on maybe Coursera. There are various websites from which you can do. IXDF is there. So that's how I started. And I think there's not a single procedure of how you start UX. It's just how it depends on actually it's yourself. So
Okay.
what do you think is the process?
I have the answer for this, but I will answer the question when these guys have their own answers. So
so for me, I don't know that I had a certain point where I actually started with UX, but and obviously it is not something you can just learn, or it's not like okay, today I think of doing UX, so I'll read on this and I'll apply this. It doesn't work like that. For me, it has been through experience, like through clients, through internships. So internships is something that actually really helps you. Like in the college, you might be taught what is UI UX, or you might be taught all the terms.
Right.
But when you actually apply in the market, it's very different. So the application is also very different.
right.
So user experience in general as a term is, it's not just that okay, just apply it when you're designing a website, but it's also when you design a product for any user, for any customer.
Right.
Because user experience is the end goal, and if that is not easy to understand, if that is not accessible, if that is not intuitive, and if it's very just complex, and if it just has too many parts in it, so I think that is not what actual experience you are providing to anyone. And eventually I think for me it was through experience, through all of constantly failing in attempts while designing anything or while researching. I mean, even when you start from a research phase, and then when you actually want to understand users. So when you just tell you have to understand users, it's not being taught what exactly you have to do. I mean, what do you do to understand users?
Right.
But I think there are many steps. There are different, like as Riya said, there are courses or there are online platforms which help you understanding what different steps you can take. But it's up to you what you apply in the actual world. It's after a particular experience you go through, you understand, okay, this is right or this is wrong. Or for you, one part is working, or for me, one part is working. So it varies from person to person because we individuals all think different. So gradually you develop a skill and then you gradually understand users. So even I'm still in the process. I don't think that I've actually started understanding users fully. It's still in the process.
My answer to this question is literally easy. Very easy process, I would say.
Okay.
Find a cult or find the right people who can perceive things how you like. So let's take you have 70 people in your college or in your class. Take 3 people, learn from those 3 people, and cultivate your learning. Right? So like when as Riya said, learning from each other is the important part in this, and I totally agree with this.
Right.
In UX, when you want to start UI UX or like interaction design, it is more how you perceive things as a product designer. It is not what degree you have. It is not that you have LSA degree, you have communication degree, or you have any degree. So find a cult, find the right cult with whom you can work, right? And maybe the second is how you perceive things when you work on a project, right? So there are different people who have who focus on business and UX, right? There are some people who perceive things in UX strategy. There are different people who more focus on UX like writing, right? There are different terms to it, right?
And researching also.
Definitely.
Very different ways you can go through UX.
Definitely.
So everything is...
So just find the right cult. Then first is done. Second, you have to perceive the things you are solving for. You have to perceive the right thing you are solving for. So it may be a product, and the product might have an interface on it, right? Then see how the interface would look like, right? And third is go and fuck up and totally experiment with your designs. Don't ever wait for someone to validate or someone to say that tu ye nahi karna chahiye, you shouldn't do this. Directly go fuck up with your design. Think how fucked the design is, how you can solve the fucked design, how you can experiment with the designs you have, and how you can move forward and create best or great designs ahead. I think the most effective way is like showing your work to the social media platforms and showing how different people think about your work, right? Because that is a perception those guys have about your work, and that is also a most important part you should carry when you are learning some of the other skill. And of course there are different platforms like Interaction Design Foundation and Udemy and Coursera. Like there are n number of platforms where you can learn everything, but I think the basic values from where you can start should be finding the right cult, perceiving the right way to solve the problem, and third is like challenge or experiment with your designs, right? Every time you create something you should have this could be a better.
This is not that good.
Definitely
Not good.
I think big companies do this a lot of times, and like this is the basic value which everyone should carry in their like in their souls when designing something. And coming to the point of core product design, right? I think more of us in our class and in the college, in design colleges are like having those problems ki in core product design, is there a job or not?
That's the main concern.
For every core product designer, I'll tell you there is a job, first of all, and secondly, we as a design firm, we have a design firm, Pointless.academy, where we have a lot of core product clients, and they are paying a lot good amount for establishing or like making their product into the market. And I really appreciate how the effort they are putting in.
Mostly startups
will give you a freelancing job for this kind of like core product design, I would say. But I might say core product design is not over yet. It is in the stage, it is in the dip, I would say. So when there is a dip, it again goes up. And it's in the dip right now, but every product designer who is listening to this, don't give up, man. The product design is going to start. And the game is going to turn on when the core product design skills are going to need by the market people or like many people around the globe. And then you guys are going to charge a pretty high amount, I would say. But yeah, coming back to the point, everyone, like most of the people from our class are talking about this thing. I just wanted to know what your thoughts are about that, and like what do you think about that?
I think it is when we were finding for internship, when we were told ki in STEM 7 you're supposed to do an internship.
Right.
So we had to submit portfolios and then talk to whichever company you align to, and then interview, and then whatever process further on. And but in this phase, since many co-product designers were a little scared कि job मिलेगा, internship मिलेगी या नहीं, so they even added a UI part into their portfolios, and then they were like, let's keep one portfolio which actually shows what I can even do UI UX. So what if I don't get into hardcore product? I'll at least get into one of those firm wherein I'll at least get an internship. That was the final thing. But I think I've just heard all of my friends saying ki there is no job. Maybe right now there is not a job, like maybe, I don't know so much in depth, but till whatever level I have seen, there are a few, but I think you can join in the startups or you can join in small firms wherein you're actually valued for what you're doing or what you're giving, what is your output.
Yes.
So I think better than focusing on big firms, you can go through small firms, you can maybe do internships, smaller phases, like maybe just work for a year in a firm and then you can switch to a different firm to understand. And I think that is where you will be able to see that what jobs are actually available for you. And also what else I had to add? Okay, I think I'll later on if I remember something.
What about you, Ria?
I think that I agree that there are not many core product jobs right now.
Okay.
But I think the need for that will increase over time, and it's not like you won't get a job right now. I mean, it's hard, but it's not impossible, I think, because there are, if you apply to 10 jobs, if you apply to 50 jobs, 2 will accept you.
Exactly.
It's like that right now.
Yes.
So I think you should keep trying, even if you're doing core or even if you're not getting a UX job, whatever it is, you should keep trying, because there are jobs, but it's just hard to get them because
Right.
because of the dip, as you said.
Yeah.
So I think it's not like people don't need core
Yeah.
product designers,
Yes.
but it's a slow pace. It's at a slow pace.
Right.
So I think you will get a job even if you are in core.
Right.
But you'll have to wait a bit. You'll have to
Definitely.
increase your patience.
Yes.
But yeah, you will get a job.
Yeah. Like in my opinion, as I said, there is a dip right now. Of course, there is a dip, but you can find a peak in the deep. You can find the level, or you can find the job you need in the deep also. I mean to say. So I think if you ask me about core product design, it is a very exciting job. I would say there are a lot of things in core product design.
It's very
And I don't want to
vast.
compare UX design and core product design because both of them are at a next level. Both of them can do a lot of things, which are like many, like which can surprise many people. What designers can give an outcome. So let's take off product design. Right now, if like yesterday only I saw a post, I guess I saw a podcast and a post. The post was saying about a product developed against the artificial intelligence, something like that. So it was a robot, so the robot had an artificial intelligence in it. It had an interface in it, and the product was so good. Like that was in the trial basis, of course. That was in the trials, was running their trials. But when I looked into that, the product or the robot was designed so well that it didn't like give me the feeling that कि ये designer ने काम थोड़ा कम किया है या फिर this is the thing they are lagging off with the product or the robotics part in the product.
And right now there are so many new products that people are making, different innovations, different modifications in the product.
Yes,
so it's not like there are no core product designers.
Yeah.
So everyone is trying something new. So maybe you can.
But I know for a fact that every product designer is going to be is going to have a successful life, I would say, because everyone who is cursing product designers or industrial designers ki you are a person who has to sketch, you are a person who has to do only sketching, ideation, and not UI UX, or like if you are doing UI UX you shouldn't do product and all. That is bullshit. Don't listen to them. Do whatever you want and experiment with it. And
explore everything.
Yeah. One more practice I learned with UX design, which I want to share with you guys also, is I recently started that practice is so every time you like, this is the best way to have a productive lifestyle. So every time you start your work, you set, let's take, you set 5 tasks, right? Every task has 25 minutes, right? You turn on the timer, you take the task up, you do the task, you come up back and you take a rest, right? And the rest is not going to be your mobile phone or like scrolling on Instagram and or something like that. It is going to be having some water, having some fresh air, and going back to the seat and work, right? So I have seen this like difference that if you do this continuously, you will see a good amount of productivity in you, and you can like experiment with a lot of things at once, and you will be done with the like many of the task in one day, I would say. And like that is a productivity tip I want to give you guys. So guys, I guess this is it for this episode. We will be planning to have more content or like more videos for core product design, UX design, animation, and different design disciplines. But this is it for today. I hope you guys love the content, and thank you for giving us the time, your precious time. So
we would like to even have your feedback. You can send us, you can DM us, or you can even put it in the comments or something, so that next episode can, or maybe you can even tell us what you would want us to talk about or discuss with someone, with any designer or something, so we can definitely try to get on some.
yeah, thank you guys.
Thank you.
Chalo bhai.